Well, I'm back, and I'm interviewing Gabriel once again, and I want to pick up where we left off. It was October. I think I'd suggested August at one point. No, it was October, and his new acquaintance Jason figured out that under the bridge there in Cessna would be a place where he might have some shelter. So take it away.
So the thing is that the winter was coming up, so I had to figure something out. I had to figure something to do, just because the winter was gonna come up, and I wasn't just surviving. I also had to plan to survive the winter, and that was my biggest scare. The fact that I didn't know how I was gonna survive the winter. In a way that would have been, because I could have built a cabin in the bridge, but that would have been technically illegal. And I actually did make an attempt to build a cabin in the bridge, even 8x4 or something like that, like a little coffin basically. But pretty much I wanted to find work as soon as possible, because people are more likely to help you if you can show that you can keep a job. Or even though it was a part-time job, just 2 days a week, the pay was not good at all, but it was enough to survive. I didn't really make that much. I wasn't really. It was hard to save up on money.
Where was that? 2 days.
That was the 2 days a week. That was on Joseph Ebersol, great guy. The guy.
Okay, but he comes later.
Yeah, he comes later in the story, but pretty much that first week that was at the bridge, like towards the end of the week, I had an interview at. So I met Jason on a Monday, and on a Friday was my interview, and on the interview it was on Friday, and I couldn't, like, I did the interview, everything went well. They never called me. They never called me back. I would call them and they would tell me things like, oh, the guy who used to work here to that the interview you went missing, so we can't tell you about we that's not my job. Or sometimes they wouldn't answer the phone for weeks. Or
Well, you got yourself all ready to do these interviews. What, there were three of them?
There were three failed ones, five in total or six in total that worked. One of them was a small interview by Joseph Ebersol, which is the longest lasting job that I've had. Not ever, but the one that I had throughout my homeless journey. And the other interview was with Steve Clapper. Kind of. I mean, it was like a first day of work where he would see if I was suitable enough to work, and it was So I did some whenever he has work, I've done so with him, and pretty much the other time was so it was Taco Bell, Wendy's, and dollar store that and on a Wise over the phone one. Once they find out that I don't have transportation, they give up. Even though I don't care how much I have to ride a bike just to get to the job so I can move forward. Because I mean, if they give me 7 weeks of work, then I have enough to buy a vehicle just to get there, even if it's not like a 150 cc motorbike or something. But people need to understand that some people, if you just give them if whatever energy you bring up to me, it's always gonna be an investment towards you. Because I like to meet people halfway, and I really care about not making people feel indebted. I don't ever want to making people feel like they're in debt. And I was asking everybody for a job. I would go on Google Maps asking every businesses that had a phone number for a job. If I were to go to a dollar store, if I were to go to a Giant Eagle, I would talk to a cashier like, "Hey, are you guys hiring?" And it's weird how a lot of places, they will put up the sign, "We're hiring," and they never they make it sound like they need some guy, good, but they don't need. They make it sound like they need some guy, but they don't actually hire the guy. Even though it doesn't matter if I don't have transportation, because I don't care. I've ridden my bike 2 hours, 3 hours. Just
Well, you
just-
didn't even have a bike at first.
I didn't
right?
even have a bike at first, but I would have. You best be sure I would have walked.
How did you get that bike?
A kind man by the name Steve Clapper, he gave it to me. I guess I'm not too sure if this is company, but if you look up Steve Clapper Painter, I guess that's him. He's a real estate guy. He's a house flipper guy, whatever you would. He's really into houses or something of that nature, like a landlord or something, or that realm of work. And he's a great guy. He gave me a bike and a Bible. The second day I met him, and he's a great guy. Great guy. If I'm being honest, all the people I've met throughout the way are. Yep.
Maybe that's a good place to pause.